She said, Ghanaian man.
That's trouble.
She's like, Ghanaian man on the streets. I'm going back. I said,
Oh.
you didn't snatch any? He's like, no.
So she likes Ghanaian men.
They all came back.
Here, this is what they say about Ghanaian men. They say that you can either meet a Ghanaian man that's tall or has all his hair. You can't have both. For people listening, this here is Rotimi, a savvy entrepreneur.
I love that, savvy. I read that.
You savvy?
Savvy. I was like, being Nigerian, that can go any way. People can take that anyway. Savvy.
You see that, and on the side, I do my writing thing. So
the wordplay,
savvy. Yeah, that's
the wordplay. I like it.
And we're gonna just. Because I am the opposite of you, I think. Or actually, maybe not, and this
people
is what
we just met a few minutes ago.
Yes.
But we spoke on the phone a couple of times.
We did.
And I'll let you go.
And you were very, very professional. You made sure to ask the questions, and you had it on the Google Calendar. You're like, it's 12:30, I'll be here.
Messed up.
And then I'm looking at my watch. I'm like, this guy, where he did?
Anyway, you were saying you're not like me.
Yes.
And I interrupted. I'm going to try not to interrupt too much.
No, that's fine. But I always have a lot of admiration for entrepreneurs, for people that are able to look at different situations and make an opportunity come out of them. And specifically, what I'm talking about is Bed Vyne, a place that I've been to many times.
Thank you.
That I've maybe stumbled out of, maybe more than a couple times.
Thank you.
With some drink in hand, or maybe even a lady.
Drink responsibly,
yes.
Everyone. Oh, it's so interesting that you said maybe a lady. You know how many dudes come up to me and say, "Thank you, Rotimi. Bed Vyne has been good to me."
Yes, you said
I was
me up.
like, what's going on out here? Interestingly enough, how is this interview going to go? I feel like I'm interrupting when stuff happens. It jogs my memory.
No,
when you said maybe a lady, we've had 6 proposals at Bed Vyne Brew, because when people meet their future wife in that space, they want to propose in that space. So we've had about 6 proposals in the same place where they met their young lady, now wife. So I love that about Bed Vyne Brew. But
look
I'm
at this guy.
Try. You said about walking over with a woman or 2 or 3, and that came to mind. I would try to focus so we could do this properly.
Rotimi, so you're a savvy entrepreneur, you're a businessman, and you're a matchmaker? That's what you're telling us now?
You know what? I don't fashion myself to be a matchmaker, but apparently we've made many matches.
If that's what I'm going to call you, then you'll take that label.
So basically,
okay,
ladies, if you want a man, come to Bed Vyne Brew.
Bed Vyne Brew.
We got you.
And what's the address? Where's that at?
So Bed Vyne Wine is located at 385 Tompkins Avenue, beautiful Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn. Bed Vyne Brew is located at 370 Tompkins Avenue. And Bed Vyne Cocktail is located at 305 Halsey Street, all in Bedford-Stuyvesant, Brooklyn.
And just what are the differences with these different places?
So the interesting thing is my mom still does not like that I own liquor businesses. Nigerian Christian woman. She said, you should close every Sunday like Chick-fil-A. I'm like, Chick-fil-A? The racist ass.
Yes.
Anti-LGBTQ, whatever.
Well done.
So that's my mom. She does not Like, so I got into the business happenstance. I used to rent a property that my brother and I owned, 370 Tompkins, and I got into a couple of tenants, commercial tenants who didn't pay their rent. And so it's a whole process in New York to kick people, to evict people. So went through that twice, and I was like, I'm never gonna rent to someone again. It's too much money, attorney. It's just too much. So we had the spaces. So now what are we gonna do? We were going to do a restaurant. We did our research. I'm like, we don't know anything about restaurants. We're going to be closed in 3 months. And then I said, dry cleaners. And then we did the research. I'm like, we don't have the plants. We'll be depending on someone else. Did a whole research with the gentleman that owns Happy Cleaners. Then we're like, we can't do that. And then one day, Michael, we have 4 owners, Michael, myself, my brother Ayo, and Pete. So Michael comes to me through Craigslist to rent an apartment. I had another property in Bed-Stuy. And I was like, wow, I haven't seen Michael in years. We used to work at Sanofi Pharmaceuticals. And so we reconnected like that. I'm like, what are you up to? It's like, oh, I own a wine shop in Flatbush. I was like, I have a space. It's only 250 square feet, but I want to do a wine shop, but I know nothing. It's like, perfect. Let's go look at the space. I'm like, oh, it's very small. Michael's like, I love it. I love it. We could do it. I'm like, you sure? So I would go to 65 Fen was his wine shop on Fenimore and Flatbush. And I would just go there for like 4 months after my day job and just observe and sit there to see if I really wanted to do the business. And then after 4 months, I was like, you know what? I'm ready. Let's do it. So that was my research and that's how we started. We had the space, didn't want to rent to people, and started Bed Vyne Wine. That's the retail one. And then people used to come to Bed Vyne Wine and stay all day. Small 250 square feet space. They were like, what are you going to do next door? You should open a bar. I'm like, I will never open a bar. It's not my thing. And then we opened it, and from day one, Bed Vyne Brew has been special.
Now,
Special.
you just said I would never. So, what was the moment, or did something happen where you're like,
so
maybe I should open this bar?
To your point earlier, you mentioned something about you admire entrepreneurs that do things where maybe people don't think about it.
Yes.
In 2000, we opened Bed Vyne Wine in October 15th, 2011. If you know what was happening in Bed-Stuy, that was sort of the beginning of gentrification. It was already here. So Mike and I knew we were going to open the wine shop. One night we were like doing work in the space before we opened, 2010, I guess. We're looking at the space. It's like 2 a.m. People don't understand, entrepreneurs, like we sleep, but we don't sleep. You're always thinking what you're going to do. It was like 2 o'clock in the morning, Mike and I in the space. It's not a wine shop yet. We're looking. We saw a white girl at 2 a.m. walking a dog. She was pregnant. And Mike and I looked at each other, we're like, oh, snap, it's coming. She was comfortable at 2 a.m. walking a dog on Putnam and Tompkins
in Bed-Stuy.
In 2010.
Bed-Stuy.
We were like, oh, yeah. And so the neighborhood was going through a change that you could see even before 2010. So we were like, yeah, there's something coming in Bed-Stuy. So we were blessed to see that at that point.
But was that the moment where you said, oh, well, if we can already feel gentrification coming, that's why we should. So I guess what I'm asking is what specifically, or what aha moment led you? Because at first you said, oh, I don't want to open a bar. So what's the moment, or what's the thinking that led you to opening Bed Vyne?
It's a great question, but the marketplace always dictates. Like, never open a business that the marketplace is not asking for. The marketplace, people kept coming to the wine shop and saying, why don't you open a bar next door? The neighborhood needs places to stay. I think it was Wine Therapy and maybe a couple of other bars in Bed-Stuy at that point. 2011, 2010, there weren't a bunch of bars in Bed-Stuy. Fast forward now, I don't know, 10, 15 of them. So people literally said, we want a place where we can hang out, talk to each other, a neighborhood spot. And people call Bed Vyne Brew like their cheers. A lot of women I speak to, their first date online, they bring guys there because they don't know the man. So they want to be in a place where if anything goes down, I got my people. They're going to beat his ass. So a lot of women bring their first date to Bed Vyne Brew. So it was the market dictated. And, being a Christian, an African man, I struggle with being a Christian because we know the history.
Yes, sir.
But I don't believe in a white Jesus, but I believe in God. And so that, and growing up with Nigerian parents, very disciplinarian, you're Ghanaian. If you got a tattoo, you're going to hell. If you had sex, you're going to hell. If you smoke, you're going to hell. If you drink anything that's good, you're going to hell.
You're going to hell for it.
So I grew up like that, not drinking, not partying. And that's just, so the idea of opening a bar to me was foreign, period. So that's why I didn't think I would open. But the neighborhood kept saying, we need spaces. And at that point, there were no spaces in Bed-Stuy where people can just do what we do at Brew now.
And there was a demand for it. So then, there's Bed Vyne Wine, Bed Vyne Brew, and then the third
Bed
one
Vyne Cocktail. Yeah. So we opened everything 2 years into it. Bed Vyne Cocktail, Bed Vyne Wine, October 15, 2011. Brew, June 2013. Cocktail 2015. I forget which month. And Cocktail, it was people talking about they want a proper cocktail place in the neighborhood. There was none at that point. So we had this vision of doing like a proper, like a Maison Fahrenheit, I think it's called. Maison Premier. Is it Premier?
What's that?
It's on Bedford Avenue. It's like a proper cocktail.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, place. And there's PhD. So we were trying to do a proper cocktail place in Bedford-Stuyvesant. That's why we opened Cocktail. But you know what? Business, sometimes it's not always a hit. That was a failure. I mean, from day one, I can be honest that, I don't want people come to me for advice about business, and you got to be realistic about certain things. You can't expand too quickly. I feel like we expanded too quickly. And that just never took off. Brew had a magic from day one. Wine had a magic from day one. Cocktail just never. So.
And in your head, is there anything you can point to that was the reason for that?
I think it was location. It's way more residential. That Brew Corner is very special. Like Tompkins and Putnam, it's just a special place, that corner. Now we call it Black Girl Magic Way. So, interesting story. I was going to call it Little Lagos.
Oh, okay.
I was born in Lagos, Nigeria. Because we have, Ayo has, not Ayo, my brother, another Ayo. He has Brooklyn Kettle, the coffee shop. His wife had, what's his wife's fashion place? So I was like, Peace and Riot, Black Nigerian woman owned. Bed Vyne, Nigerian. And there was another thing that was Nigerian owned. And I was like, we're going to call it Little Lagos. And then the Black American women put a kibosh on that one.
Oh,
they were
okay.
like, we have about 20 Black women-owned businesses. We're going to call it Black Girl Magic Way. So Tompkins is unofficially, one day we're going to do an official renaming. We call it Black Girl Magic Way. I don't know any other stretch in New York that has that many Black women-owned businesses. And they're successful. It's work. Life Wellness is there. Brown Butter. She started with Brown Butter, the coffee shop. Now she has a creamery. Now she's about to open a bakery. Haitian sister.
And this is on Tompkins?
This is on Tompkins between Gates to Halsey. There are 20 Black women-owned businesses.
That's really beautiful, yeah.
So come support the Black women businesses on Tompkins. Just a bunch of them. I don't know anywhere else you see that. Make Manifest is out there. I'm trying to remember all the names of the businesses Black women own over there. Peace and Riot, like I said, they'll come to me.
That's, I didn't know that before, and that's actually really beautiful that there are spaces, and I think that's what makes New York, and maybe specifically Brooklyn, such a beautiful and wonderful place, that there is this stretch.
Yep.
There's almost like a mini Black Wall Street.
Black Wall Street.
Right? Okay, yeah.
Black Wall
that's
Street.
a kind of a thing I'm thinking.
I know
that's
we
beautiful.
Everyone out there, we have questions that we're supposed to be talking about, but I love organic conversations. I love organic relationships. I just love like free flowing.
Mm-hmm.
And when you talk about Black Wall Street, Bedford-Stuyvesant, every census, it's less and less Black.
Mm.
I know historically, back in the 40s, 50s, it was white. And then black people started moving in the 60s. And then all the white people left.
White flight.
White flight. So then it became a black neighborhood. But now it's changing again. It's becoming a more white neighborhood. And this is New York City neighborhoods. Chinatown was not always Chinatown with all Asian people. So I understand. I'm not one of those people that's like, oh my goodness, white people are coming. We're screwed. No, New York City neighborhoods are always changing. Sunset Park wasn't always Spanish. So my thing is we have to have ownership, right? So white people are coming. I literally have no problems with gentrification. We just got to own some businesses. We have to own some properties. We cannot stop gentrification. That's just San Francisco. DC, Chocolate City, is no longer Chocolate City. So we can't stop it. We just have to engage in the process. So that's why I'm proud of Tompkins and all those black women-owned businesses, because they are engaging. They're not running away. You got 20 black women-owned businesses on Tompkins. Go support them so that they can stay in business. So,
but I guess I must say though, and I can definitely tell there's a difference when it comes to gentrification, and because of course a lot of policies and a lot of institutions are designed around white people and are there to make life as has been historically, presently, and maybe in the future. But maybe the future can come back to us, black people. But that is when it comes to gentrification. And that very specific part of it, there's it seems to drive out people, and I understand what you mean by, hey, support your businesses and things like that. But I also wish that there were more people within government or within within the city that codified and protected
make it affordable
businesses and make those places like
and
that.
make the resident. There was a great article in the New York Times years ago. It talked about black children growing up in Bed-Stuy and Crown Heights and Clinton Hill and Fort Greene, going to college, graduating and coming back, and they cannot afford a place in their neighborhood that they grew up in. So there's a lot of things that's ugly about gentrification. I just tend to look at the positives in every situation. Like, you cannot be a successful entrepreneur without being optimistic. Otherwise, you might as well close. So getting back to, we're talking about brew and cocktail and the wine shop. One of the things I also struggle with when we were talking earlier about opening is there's this thing in the black community about liquor. Like, people beat up Puffy, Diddy, Love now, about
his name
Ciroc. And my thing is that we drink, right? I'm not a drinker. Once in a while, I do have something. We drink. Why not own the businesses? Shout out to the Koreans, but they've been in our neighborhoods, all our neighborhoods, bulletproof liquor stores. They don't even talk to us. They take our money through the window, the plexiglass, and they keep it moving. So they are okay doing business in liquor. We should be okay doing it. We should be okay having restaurants, liquor stores. People have been telling me to get into cannabis. I don't have a passion for cannabis. I know there's medicinal things about it. I'm already dealing with my mom being upset with liquor. Now imagine selling weed. She'll disown me.
Yes, right.
So I don't want any smoke right now.
Yeah. Or maybe you do want some smoke.
But we should be in every business in our community, restaurants, bars, liquor stores. But one thing we make sure about Bed Vyne, the entire trilogy, is we're very engaged in the community. Like, I've had the first trip for Nelson Mandela's daughter to New York. She came to Bed Vyne Brew. Shout out to Selena Kufi. She's the one that, brilliant black woman, worked on Wall Street, left Wall Street after a trip to South Africa and started Heritage Brands. And she was importing black-owned wines from South Africa. So we connect. I read about her and I reached out to her, and she's responded, which is crazy.
Just
you read about people, you reach out, and they actually respond to you. So she brought Nelson Mandela's daughter and granddaughter to promote the launch of House of Mandela. Nelson Mandela loved wine when he was alive. They were looking for a gift for his 80-something birthday. They're like, What do we give a man who has everything? He loves wine. Pick up House of Mandela wine. The design is one of his favorite shirts. It's like an African print V-neck shirt.
Wow.
And they give 5% of their proceeds, sales to Nelson Mandela Foundation. So I'm very big on giving back. So we're not just bars and liquor. Like we've had interesting things at Bed Vyne, educational things, community, civic. We've done fundraiser for now our Attorney General, Tish James. We did a fundraiser at Cocktail. I don't engage in politics, but I think as a business person, you have to know your precinct, you have to know your politicians, you have to know your nonprofit people. We donate to schools all the time, PS11, daycare centers. Like, so we're very in the community. So when people look at Bed Vyne, and I think that's one of the reasons we've been successful, right? We're in the community. So God forbid if someone wants to sign a petition to do something crazy like they are doing it against open streets right now. I don't want to be cocky, but I feel like we're untouchable because when you come after us, you're coming after the community. And people know. So a lot of businesses that are not part of the community, there's no reason for us to fight for you when you get in trouble. God forbid if Bed Vyne got in trouble, there are people. It happened to, what's the sisters that, Ode to Bible. Ode to Bible was going to be, they were going to be shut down a couple of years ago because a restaurant owner didn't like seeing a bunch of black people in the neighborhood. The community came out to the community board meeting and they stopped that because Ode to Bible is part of the community. So as long as your business is part of the community and you give back, people are going to stand up for you. And if you don't, if you get in trouble, they're not coming out. Ode to Bible, that community board meeting was like crowded out the door because black women is like, this said black women own business. You're trying to shut them down for some bogus reason. We're going to come out. And they came out.
Yeah.
So I say all of that to say we're engaged. I'm on the board of the Brooklyn Navy Yard. I'm the board chair for the Best IY. So we always do stuff with the Y. So you cannot own a business in our community and not be engaged. We've let that go for many, many decades.
And not be part of the community.
I do not support you if I don't see you supporting the community. And to me, that's critical. So
okay, I like how we're dealing with what's going on in the present, but if you will indulge me, I just want to take it back.
A
little, just, you know, let's
we didn't even answer any of the questions.
Because like, as you said, free flowing, organic,
yes.
This is the Black Stars in Nigeria coming together, you know? And I want to just get a little history from you, as in where you're from.
Okay.
And what led you to coming to the U.S. and NYC specifically. Like, how did that journey start?
So as a immigrant, a child of an immigrant, you pretty much go where your parents tell you to go. I was in Nigeria. I was born in Lagos. My brother and I, my mom. One day my mom said, we're moving to New York. I'm like, I've never been on a plane. I think we're like 7.
How old?
7 years old, or 8 years old or something. He's 2 years younger than I am. I'm like, wow, I've never been on a plane. This is crazy. It's just like that. We're going to New York. Your father's in New York. A lot of times immigrants, the father comes first, lays the foundation, and then the family comes after. So he was here for a few years, and then he was like, we're going to New York. I was just like, wow, I love Lagos. You play soccer in the street, bare feet, you eat well. You didn't know you were poor, even though you were poor, because you were playing with all the kids. So that was the beginning. We got on a Pan Am. I don't think Pan Am exists anymore. That's how old my ass is. It was Pan Am, and we flew from Lagos to New York. And JFK landed, went to Harlem. I remember landing and seeing snow for the first time. Back in the 80s, snow used to be like 25 feet tall, and you would have 10 snowstorms in the winter. We don't have that anymore. We literally, last winter, we had like warming, we had like 2 snowfalls last winter.
Yeah.
It was nothing. Back in the 80s, it was 10 feet, and they didn't close the schools. We were on the bus going to school. Now, these kids are soft.
So you
closed schools were like 2 inches.
So you started off so you came to Harlem, and that's where you lived.
That's where we lived.
Right.
And then when cocaine became crack, we
Oh,
moved to Staten Island.
okay.
There was a time in the 80s where cocaine turned to crack and you started seeing crackheads and all of that. So my dad said, we're going to Staten Island. Once again, you don't really have Nigerian household, you don't get to say, oh, I see kids nowadays just talking back, reckless. White kids, black kids, just reckless talking back.
No, I don't want to go there, Mom.
Yeah.
Yes.
So he's like, we're going to Staten Island. We're like, all right, we're packing.
Yeah.
So interestingly enough, we go to Staten Island. We don't know how we found Staten Island because if you ask 80% of people in New York, they've never been to Staten Island. Staten Island was racist back then. They used to throw rocks at you, call you the N-word. I got shot with a BB gun one night standing at the bus stop with some white boys. Grew up, moved to Park Hill, Killer Hill Projects, Wu-Tang.
Okay.
So we grew up in Park Hill, Method Man, Raekwon, Capadano, all of them, RZA, all of them were in Park Hill. We played football with them. We fought with them. We hung out. The first 2 videos, it was shot by my friend Gerald Barkley. Gerald Barkley is a Liberian kid. When Wu-Tang didn't have money, the story of Wu-Tang is like Rockefeller, it's like Jay-Z. They were self-made before the industry paid attention. Gerald Barkley and I, we drove around and shot the first 2 videos. And if you look at the first 2 Wu-Tang videos, they went to the Stapleton Projects, they went to Park Hill Project. It was rough.
What were those videos?
It was it Protect Your Neck? And it was the very first 2 videos. Damn, I'm drawing a blank. It was...
this
I'll
is
come
great.
back to it.
This is great history, but yeah.
So Method Man, I grew up in 225 Park Hill. Method Man, still with the same wife. Method Man used to come to the building when we would go into school. Method Man was in the lobby smoking weed already. Like the character you see, Meth, is the same thing in real life. He'd be smoking weed at 7 o'clock in the morning because he was trying to get to the girl, but mom was not having it. So when we would come back from school, Meth would still be in the lobby. And they're married now, and they've been together forever. So that's a beautiful love story. And I just remember, it's like, wow, this brother was not giving up because he wanted to see her. Mm-hmm. And so they've been together. So Raekwon, all of them, we Tender Love. Who sang Tender Love from Staten Island? What's that group, that R&B group? I'm drawing a blank.
Yeah,
damn.
I wish I could help you. Yeah.
Middle Ages. Force MDs.
Okay.
We grew up with Force MDs on Staten Island too. And then they blew up. So if you look at the Wu-Tang videos, all of a sudden it became cleaner and crisp. That's when they signed to record label. And it was like 15 of them. There's a bunch of Wu-Tang people. So we ended up Staten Island, and then I moved to Brooklyn in 2000 because my brother moved to Brooklyn first. And he loved Brooklyn. I was like, I am not moving to Bed-Stuy, do or die. All you know about Brooklyn is Big and Smalls. And I was just like, nah, I can't. I was in Staten Island. At this point, we're not in Park Hill anymore. We're in a nice little house I bought with my mom. We're in a nice neighborhood. So I was like, why am I going to Bed-Stuy from this nice neighborhood in Staten Island? So that's the journey. Lagos, Harlem, Park Hill, Staten Island, Bed-Stuy.
Now, as someone who... is maybe not the most frugal of people.
You?
Yeah, that's me.
I'm very frugal.
Well, that is some of the ways we're different. I actually and not to get into like all the details, but how is it? I mean, and maybe this also has to do with the time period where maybe some things were affordable in New York City, because that doesn't seem to be the case anymore.
Crazy.
But how did you buy your first property, or what was it? What was going on?
We don't come from money. I'm a big saver. I've always known from childhood I wanted to be a business owner. I wanted to be in Black Enterprise. I always wanted to be on the front page of the cover of Black Enterprise. We made it into Black Enterprise digital and not the front page, so somewhat accomplished my mission. My brother and I do everything together. So when he found the first brownstone in Bed-Stuy, he was like, yo, I need $5,000. Down payment is $10,000. Back in 2010, for family, he found it for $250,000. That is unheard of, right? $250,000. So he needed 3%, Anyway, he needed money for the half of the down payment. And I was like, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. Best for Stuyvesant, are you crazy? They shoot people out there, big and small, do or die.
Mm-hmm.
So he would drive me back and forth for like 10 visits. And then finally I was like, you know what? It's only, actually, I think it was 3,000 that he needed 6,000 or something. So we went in together. And ever since then, we've been buying property together. And my thing is we have to do stuff cooperatively. We cannot do it by ourselves. New York City is expensive. I encourage black women, and I have about 3 sets of black women who've bought brownstones as a group of 2 or 3. Because by yourself, a single black woman in New York, you're not buying a brownstone by yourself, unless you're Wall Street and you do 600,000 a year. So I've actually encouraged, and we've made it happen where 2 or 3 they bought a brownstone together. Even when they're married now, they still own the property. It's an asset. So to your question, we cannot do it alone. Mm-hmm. Impossible.
And I mean, you had help. And
help with my brother.
Yeah.
We didn't go to the bank.
That's true. Okay. Oh, okay.
Well, no. For the mortgage, we went to the bank. For the down payment, we came up.
To come.
Ourselves. You remember when your parents were here, Nigerian parents, Ghanaian, Liberian? Park Hill, it was a lot of Ghanaians, Liberians, Nigerians in Park Hill. I don't know if you've ever been to Park Hill in Staten Island.
No, I haven't.
You should go.
I've been to Staten Island once.
Yeah,
and I'm gonna go again just because of what you were talking about.
You been to Staten Island? There's a big community of Liberians, Ghanaians, Nigerians in Staten Island. And what they would do when they got here, and this is another thing, the beef between Black Americans and Africans, when the Africans come, I'm about to get in trouble. Maybe I should not say anything.
Go ahead.
But when Africans would come here, they will pool their resources and they'll be out of the project in like 5 years or so. And
okay,
I know there's systemic things.
Okay, right.
Keep black people in there.
Right. That's what because I must say, yes, I hear this talk about, we've got to, but I guess all I'm going to say is that Black African Americans, Black people in America, whatever you want to call it, have really forever their time being here done their best, right?
They've done a lot of things
to get there to prosper,
yes.
Right? But at every point, and we just mentioned Black Wall Street, and we know what happened there.
They
right?
burnt it down.
They burnt it down, right? And I know we're saying white people, just to be specific.
Yeah.
But white people burned that down. And I even read something about a lot of places used to be free. Like college used to be free.
City College was free.
Right.
When I went to City College, I paid. But when Giuliani went, when the other governor, Pataki, when they went, Ed Koch, City College was free, CUNY. Mm-hmm. When we come along, then it became tuition, right. And then it keeps going up. And back to the African-American thing, because, people jump on IG and talk crazy.
Yes.
Very clearly, Black Americans paved the roads. Make sure this is on the thing. I don't want any problems. Black Americans paved the roads for all the other Black immigrants that come to this country.
There we go.
It's like they took you saved me. Thank you. Shout out to Kwesi. No, but yeah, it's important to put things in context. People chop things up online and then you get beat up. Black Americans paved the road for all the Black people that came to this country, right? But Black Americans also suffer from oppression and systemic things that keeps them from doing certain things.
Yes.
Like you said, Black Americans have fought through all of that and created a bunch of big things.
Hip-hop,
music,
right?
hip-hop,
if we're talking about
medicine,
the 50th,
but we've done a bunch of stuff.
Yes.
I think what happens when Africans come here is we're not burdened by that thing that white people placed on us, even though we are in Africa. Because they colonized Africa. But for some reason, when we come here, we're a little more emboldened. Like, I feel like we're here, opportunities here, we're getting it. I don't think President Obama would have been president if he grew up his entire life in America. He grew up a lot of times overseas, and his father was Kenyan. And I think that
right, he was in Hawaii.
I think some of his success can be attributed to not having been here his entire life, because the oppression of Black people is real. You wake up in the morning. When we've grown up in Staten Island, I would go into Macy's at the mall. They were following you. because they don't distinguish between African and African American.
Of course,
that's
right.
one thing we have to understand. They don't distinguish. They just treat all of you the same. So I feel like I opened a can of worms, but all Black people, I love us. I want us to just, what did Issa Rae said? I'm rooting for everybody Black.
Yes,
That's me.
yes, yeah.
I'm rooting for everybody Black.
And I, and there's been because just going off of that, there's a lot of talk about that kind of growing up. There was definitely friction, right?
Yeah.
Between, even when I going to college, there was African Student Association, and then there was Black Student Union.
We need to talk about it.
And there was always that those issues. And now there's, a group, I think they're called ADOS, or African Descendants of Slaves, or African Descendants of Slaves.
Mm-hmm.
And I understand, some of the things that they bring up, that, there is that friction between, first generation Africans in Africa. But of course, again, the people that really fan the flames of those issues between us are white people.
Exactly.
And you can see it in other facets, even with in acting, when I think there was with Get Out, when Daniel Kaluuya played the part, and then Samuel L. Jackson was saying something about, those Black Brits, when they come over here, they take that kind of thing.
It's divide and conquer. When we came here from Nigeria, Black American kids would call us monkey, call us all types of names. Yeah. You know why? Because they were watching Tarzan, and they had this image of Africa, and they put that image on us when we came. And conversely, we came from Africa, and we had images of Black Americans when we got here. So that whole thing was set up not from African Americans, not from Africans. It was set up, like you said, by some other people. Yes. So then on the granular level, we're like fighting each other. Like Park Hill, it was Puerto Ricans, Africans, Black Americans, all poor, but we're fighting because there's a system that makes us not like each other or fight each other. But that's a conversation for another.
I guess my last thing is, do you think there is a reason? Because of course, right now I think I see a lot of Ghanaians in the Bronx, and they have Accra restaurant up there and something.
I need to go to Accra. I met Abdul, and I didn't know his father owned it. I got to go check it out.
Yeah. Sadly, the Accra restaurant in Harlem closed.
It's closed
because they didn't take care of business. And I love our Ghanaian people.
That man has Afro future.
Yeah, or something like that.
Yeah, so you want to be invited.
That's true. But in the Bronx, they're good. So what, on Davidson, I think. So that's fine. I
got to check that out.
But did you see where did you think most Africans were going to? Like when you were growing up in like the 80s and in the early 90s, were they coming to Staten Island, or was it more? Or was it just kind of spread? Spread around?
I feel like it's whoever got here first, and other ethnic groups do that also. There's like a big Somalian, Ethiopian, like in Seattle or some crazy. I don't know how one person got there, and then they brought all their Somali. Because I've met some Somali, Ethiopian.
I don't know why we do this. We decide to sometimes, Africans, we go to the coldest places. So like in Minnesota, there's a big Somali population.
Yes, maybe that's what I meant. So,
and there are some reasons for that. I think Minnesota was one of the places that welcomed Somali refugees. What was going on in Mogadishu. So I get that, but why don't we go to
Miami, California?
The warmer places.
Miami, we go. See, the thing about Africans, we go where the opportunity is.
Okay.
So whoever allows you to come in and make it happen, that's where we go to.
And like the bigger cities, right? Like the Chicago's, and then
and you can hide.
Yeah,
and you can't really hide in certain. New York State is 20 million. New York City is 12 million. You can hide. Some Senegalese, some Nigerians.
You can have your people. So I guess, just going from there, then and you're, at Bed Vyne, you've probably seen the changes because you guys have a DJ and, you have parties there and something like that. So, of course, you were there when, when Afrobeats was probably kind of starting to swim around.
Yep.
And can you just talk about that eventual, growth from where it started to where it is now with Amapiano and all these
I am
things.
just proud of all of the men and women, Whiskey, Davido, Burna Boy, Asake, all of them.
You see, you're just naming all Nigerians now.
Can you name a couple
We don't
of
have
Ghanaians?
any. You don't have any people.
We had this conversation on the phone. I'm terrible. I need to know my South African and my Ghanaians. And
yeah, we got Sakod here. We got Bisakede. We're out here.
I'm going to listen to some Ghanaian Afrobeat. Do they call it Afrobeat?
So you see, yeah, that's what I was saying.
Nigerian thing, Afrobeat.
And some music people have told me that Fela.
Yes, Fela Kuti. Shout out to Fela Kuti.
Exactly. He developed Afrobeat.
Yes.
Right? Where it's just one T.
Yes.
But then this newer iteration of it that started maybe in the early 2000s or late 90s, early 2000s. Yeah, exactly. Then it became Afrobeats.
Yeah, I've heard that. I've heard that.
That's the difference.
And then there's a third thing that they say.
Well, Burna Boy has his Afrofusion.
Yes, I've heard Afrofusion.
He talks about a pizza with, different things.
He got in trouble
That's
recently.
one of these guys. Yeah.
Burna Boy said something controversial recently that got him in trouble. But anyway, so right now, America did not love Africans. Ghanaian, Liberian, when we first were coming in the 80s, they did not love us. Now everybody wants to be African. Everybody wants to go back to Ghana, year of the return.
Yes.
Shout out to Ghana for pulling off year of the return. Nigeria could have never done that. People
would have you know what?
Mick Mills would have been kidnapped. Rick Ross would have been kidnapped.
Oh, wow. Yes.
But Ghana, fantastic job. Oh, you know what? So Niger Jollof is better than all the other Jollofs. However, Ghana Airport is way better than Nigeria Airport. I want to get that in. I'm trying to give you something.
You see, we have
to touch.
We're already gonna have this section where we compliment on that, but you had to bring that in.
I'm sorry.
Why do you? And by the way, it's always Nigerians. It's always you Niger people that always start this. Always. We're here minding our own business, and then you just have to bring in, oh, by the way, our jollof is better.
There's something about Nigeria. We have a Kanye West syndrome. We're overly self-confident.
I mean, look, you already said it, and I like that you said it had to do with community, but you're like, hey, Bed Vyne, untouchable. You can't touch us.
No.
You see?
Let me take that back. Let me take that back.
I understand why you said that, but I was like, look at this Niger guy.
Let me take that back. When I said that, I meant I feel like the universe has a way of working the right way. No matter what it looks like. It looks crazy. I just believe in karma. I feel like the universe has a way of working to take care of you, even if it looks crazy. Mm-hmm. We've had a lot of stuff. We've had people want to sue us. We've had people steal our name to use it to open another wine shop. I will not mention, but I had to send my lawyer. My lawyer had to shut that down because they stole our name. People don't know when you do business. They don't know what goes on behind the scenes. They just think, oh, I still have a day job. It's not like I'm swimming in money. In the wintertime, brew is slow. December to April, it's $0. So there's a bunch of challenges that people don't see. When I say the untouchable thing, there's a scripture in the Bible. It talks about touch not my... I'm so bad with scripture.
Your mother is going to be
touch not my... it's like someone that God put his hands on. Don't touch them because you're going to pay for it. That's just a real thing. Touch not my anointed, right? Mm-hmm. I feel very clearly that I'm an anointed person. We all are. Mm-hmm. We all are anointed. Yes. We're all blessed. When people try to go after us without cause, the universe has a way of taking care of it. So that's what I meant earlier. If you have a business, we mentor kids. We've had a couple of young black men open their own wine shop after they work for us. We mentor people. We're just not a business. We're like about the community. So when I say untouchable, that goes for any business, any individual. Kwesi, you're untouchable. As long as you're doing the right thing, you don't do anything crazy. If someone tries to touch you, the universe has a way of destroying them.
That's beautiful.
That's a fact.
But I mean, the Nigeria is still in there. You're like, hey, untouchable, But I want to bring it back to
Josh. Let's scratch that off the interview. I don't want any problems.
But I still want to talk about like how you have seen music and specifically African music change with your time being a bar owner and of course having people at the party. Because I was at Bed Vyne maybe 2 months ago, and it was an Amapiano set.
It's
all night.
It's crazy. It wasn't always
that was
like that.
Unheard of.
When we opened in 2013, you didn't have Afrobeat night. You had reggae nights because reggae was already on. You didn't have Afrobeat. You didn't have Amapiano. I just started hearing that terminology like 3-4 years ago. Maybe I'm late, but I just started hearing that. So you're right. People demand, people ask, is your DJ playing Afrobeat? They can go all night with Afrobeat. Hard Hitting Harry, shout out to him. He's been with us from day one. His set reflects. He's a DJ. Hard Hitting Harry, he's a legend in New York City.
Okay, just one,
So he's like on the forefront of like, he's Haitian. So he's playing like compa. He's playing, he's always played diverse. But to your point, people are going to all Afrobeat parties, in Williamsburg, in Bushwick. What was the award show last night that Rima won for?
With Selena Gomez, right?
I think that's unheard of.
Yes.
And what's her name? Tiffany Haddish kept going on and on about Afrobeat last year on the award show. So it's such a different, like people asked for it. It wasn't like I was saying earlier, people did not love Africans when we were coming here in the 80s and 90s, 70s. Now everybody wants to be. They want to go to Nigeria. They want to go to Ghana, Liberia. And I love it. I love that Cardi B went to Nigeria and she was going crazy. Like, yo, this is one of the most beautiful places. Meek Mills was in Ghana last year.
And she went to Ghana too.
I didn't know that.
You see,
I said Meek Mills. I said Meek Mills went to Ghana. But he got in trouble though.
Yeah?
You know what happened?
I actually don't know. Yeah.
You don't know what happened?
You know what happened? You went to the Jubilee.
No, he made a whole music video in the presidential
house. Yes, President Jubilee.
They shut that down real quick. He took it off.
Because you can't be doing that.
They said, who gave you permission? But he was probably excited to be in that space and see it's got to be interesting for Black Americans to go to Africa and see a place where we dominate. Mm-hmm. It's got to be foreign coming from the United States. The president is Black. The first lady is Black. Everybody's Black. So it's got to be, psychologically, it's got to be like, oh, snap, this is. So he probably got excited and he was like, let me shoot a video. And then he got in trouble.
Yeah. And there's always going to be those things that are lost in translation. And it's the culture shock. But, as a Ghanaian and someone who was there for a year of return, it was beautiful. Wow. It was beautiful.
That's crazy.
It was an amazing time. And trust me, I have my criticisms of Ghana, and there's very legitimate things to say about how they are treating certain people, LGBTQ, and it's not good.
Same with Nigeria.
Yeah,
I feel like we need leadership that's young and maybe was trained abroad, because we have resources, we have brain power. But
and they can still be there too.
Is struggling.
Yeah, they can still be local too, because I know we also tend to put a lot of, and I understand why maybe a lot of credence or think very highly of people that have been abroad and then come back. But we can still have our own things and our own local things where we're using our own things in order to help our people, because no one knows our people like our people.
I have Nigerian friends who still send their kids back to Nigeria to get educated. Because when we moved here from Lagos, the teachers used to say, oh, you're not from here, you and your brother. Because we were so much more advanced than the American kids, Black and white. We were so much more advanced. And that's because the education system in Africa, period, is just rigorous. Some people criticize it because there's a lot of memorization. There's not a lot of free thinking, sort of Montessori type schooling. I was a teacher for 5 years. I've done everything.
Spoken like a true Nigerian.
I used to make pizza in Staten Island at Sabaros when I was in college.
There we go.
And white people used to come in and say, you must be from Sicily. I'm like, that's a stupid joke. I hear it every day because Sicilians are darker skin.
Yes.
Every time they come in, you must be from Sicily. I'm like, come up with another joke. That's stupid.
There's your free slides. Yeah, get out of this place.
So, but This is fun.
So, Rotimi, I have a section here that is actually specifically built for you because you are my first Nigerian guest.
Thank you. I appreciate
And
it.
you're welcome. And I don't know why, for some reason there seems to be some hostility, animosity, rivalry. I don't have any more words.
Between who and who?
RY. Of course, Black Star, Niger, Ghana, Nigeria. I don't know why. But there just seems to be
Is
some
it
little
hostility
something.
or friendly? Because all the Nigerians go party in Ghana. Wizkid, when they want to party and not get robbed or kidnapped, they go to Ghana.
That's right. We heard.
David
Burna Boy
Ola,
said,
bro.
"Hey, when I want some peace, some tranquility,
exactly.
we go to Accra,
Ghana.
we go to Ghana,
Yeah,
and that's fine." And you even tried it with the whole jollof thing, and you know what I heard, and still this eggs me to this day that the bags, the checkered kind of bags, in Ghana we call them Ghana to go.
Okay.
But according to my Nigerian friend, he was like, "Oh, that's a Ghana must go bag." I said, "What?
Ghana must go back.
Ghana must where we go? Where must we go? It's a Ghana to go, not a Ghana must go."
That's ridiculous.
You see the disrespect, but it's fine.
I think it's in love. I think it's love.
It's love?
I think it's like when my brother and I growing up, we used to fight because we had shared the same bedroom our entire elementary to high school. Same bedroom, same clothes, and we used to fight.
Yeah.
But I think it's kind of...
So it's out of love.
Yeah, I think
so
it's love.
That's fine.
I don't think it's real.
So and I just, I'm a lover and I'm not a fighter. And
exactly.
I believe that too.
Yeah.
So I thought for this section of the program, we could just... a Ghanaian and a Nigerian, we could just say some nice things about each other. So I'm going to say 3 nice things.
I've already said something nice about Ghana, or 2 things. But
okay, right. Yeah, that's fine. And you can repeat those. But
yes,
there just going to be some 3 nice, simple things.
Okay.
And then, and then whatever you can think of, that would be nice too. Because I want to be the one that brings Ghana and Nigeria together. 2 great, beautiful countries.
We should do a 2024 version of We Are the World with Ghanaian artists and Nigerian artists.
You see? That's beautiful.
And bring some Senegalese and Liberians in there too.
So,
I'm sorry.
That's actually a great idea. So yeah, Wizkid, Burna, Bisakede, Shatawale. If you guys are listening, we love that. Tiwa.
We Are the World.
So
Tiwa Savage, I love her.
There we go. So number 1, suya. I love suya. It's flavorful, and when it's done right, it is one of the best. Just food in general. In fact, sometimes I don't even need jollof. I don't need anything else. Just give me suya powder. That's it.
Shout out to Brooklyn Suya, Buka,
there we
Amarachi.
go. Yes.
Get
See?
the suya from there.
That's love.
So I'm supposed to say something nice now?
There you go.
Your airport. There was a Nigerian guy at the airport, and he was filming on IG how beautiful your airport was, and he was just trashing our main airport in Lagos. So I've never been to your airport, but what he was showing, he was like, how come Nigeria doesn't have this? Blah, blah, blah. So your airport, shout out to your airport.
I see. I love that. Okay. See that?
Yes.
That's us building. Okay.
Yeah.
Number 2, and I have this written down, by the way, and so y'all can see that I'm not lying about when I say this, okay? And all the Nigerians are gonna say obviously, but
I will not say that.
Yeah, but the Nigerians I know are go-getters.
Yes, sir.
Ambitious.
Yes, sir.
And move with purpose.
Yes, sir.
That's real.
That is, I think it's in the water or something. You know what?
Maybe.
Your parents expect nothing less. Like growing up, it's either doctor, lawyer, or engineer. Up until this day, my mom is still kind of like, you're useless. You didn't become a doctor. I was like, wow, that's disrespectful.
I mean, you work in a hospital, right?
No, I told her that I work with doctors every day.
Yeah, so that's close.
Ghanaian women.
Oh.
Ghanaian women are some of the most beautiful women. Like the skin color, the personality, the curves,
of course,
the brilliance.
Yes.
So I have to say, I'm not saying anything else about any other women in the world. I'm just saying Ghanaian women are very. I don't want to blow them up and say their name, but intellectually, business-wise, beauty, skin, So
Beautiful.
shout out to all the Ghanaian women.
There we go. You heard this first from my Niger guy. And last but not least, and number 3, I told you, Bukayo Saka. He plays on Arsenal.
Okay.
He's an Arsenal player. And that's my favorite team. And he's the best player. He's Nigerian. You're British Nigerian. Great player.
I think the last thing I'm going to say, because I am so impressed by Year of the Return, I'm impressed that the president is encouraging people to come and be citizens. I think the Year of the Return definitely would not have been pulled off in Lagos. They would have been kidnapping people, robbing people. They would have been
just the nonsense.
It's like Mick Mills came, but they find it.
Yeah. And, I love that.
But
I love that.
Ghana, I think the proactiveness of it all, like, come here, we're going to take it, we want you here. I think Ghana is going, Nigeria has supposedly the biggest economy just because it's 100 million people, or maybe more now. But I feel like Ghana intentionally is asking people to come, and I feel like that's going to create some great opportunities. So I love come see what we offer, bring your talents here. I love that. And I don't think Year of the Return would have gone off smoothly in Lagos.
Well, people, y'all heard it from here first, okay? That was the section. That was a compliment, a Nigerian and a Ghanaian. And that was a Ghanaian and a Nigerian, putting the swords down, putting down any issues, and
it's all love.
And showing love, spread love. That's the Brooklyn. There we go. You're so O'Shea. Now we have another section. Okay,
yes, I love this section.
This section is called This or That.
You can get with this. You can get with that.
That's
Is that
right.
You got it?
Yeah. Well, maybe. No, okay. I like to think I'm original, but yeah, you know what? That kind of works.
No, you are. That just comes to my brain. 50th anniversary of hip hop.
That's right.
Comes to my brain.
So for this game, it's very self-explanatory. You either pick this or that.
Okay.
But more importantly,
this is tough.
Please tell us why. Okay.
This is tough.
And I also like the fact this was in our pre-game or pre-talk. Wow, see, pre-game. I'm already thinking alcohol. This is in our pre-talk. There were 2 things that you didn't know about, and that's fine. I'm a little bit surprised.
You didn't tell me you're going to blow my spot up.
You know what I mean? But it's okay.
I was vulnerable. I told this man who I just met today, but I feel a kinship with Kwesi. I told him I didn't know a couple of the this or that. Did he tell me on the phone? Oh, we're not. Now he's telling everybody. But
it's okay. But it's
because I'm actually ashamed that I didn't know. But
it's love though.
Tell him what I didn't know.
Okay. So we'll just let the people know how the game works. So for example, Fela Kuti or King Sunny Ade.
It's a tough one. I took my mom to Fela on Broadway because she grew up with the family. Sunny Ade is still doing his thing. Very distinguished man. It has to be Fela Kuti because that's like the man.
That's a legend.
Fela.
Okay.
That man, they beat him. They try to kill him. He was a man of the people.
He was definitely a man of the people.
He was struggling.
And a man of with many, 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 many wives.
I think he had one wedding and he was 20-something women at that one wedding. So
so he does everything big.
Yeah, he does everything big.
Yeah.
So Fela Kuti.
And I must say, Fela has been responsible for a lot of very weird conversations with white people because, of course, of them trying to, be nice and like, so they hear Ghana, they're like, Africa, oh, Fela, Fela. I'm like, Fela he's Nigerian. I don't listen to him like that. He's a good artist, but relax, man. Okay? Impress me. Maybe say something like Daddy Lumba or something.
Oh, man.
Then I'm listening.
That's funny. I can't blame them. They all think we're the same, literally.
Charlie, don't even get me started. Eba or Amala?
Eba or Amala. Wow, that's a tough one. I have to say Eba because I feel like I can still get it in America more so than Amala. Mm-hmm. So Eba would be the one. Eba.
That's right.
Egusi.
Oh, there we go. Oh, we were coming to that. Malta Guinness or Fanta?
So I'm not a drinker. I just started drinking a few years ago because I'm in the liquor business.
That's right.
Malta. Oh, Malta.
But Malta. That's what I was going to say. Malta. Get Malta. Malts. Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Malts.
My mind went to Guinness.
You see, you already looked for
you know what? This is a tough one.
See? This is how it is.
This is a tough one.
Yes.
I have to say Fanta. Because growing up, it was more drinking Fanta as kids, more so than Malta. Malta is when I became an adult, even though it's not alcoholic.
It's not alcohol, right.
But Fanta is, everybody. Probably in
especially
all of Africa.
Of course, yeah.
Coke, you
Fanta with the bottle too,
Sprite with the bottle,
Yes.
So I have to say Fanta.
Okay.
Yes.
I take Malta especially when you have some fufu or some palm soup.
Yes.
You have the Malta Guinness. It's done.
This is why this is why this or that is tough. It's a tough competition.
So now we already talked about the difference between these two.
Yes.
Afro beats.
Yes.
Or Afro beat.
Yeah,
the original versus the...
I would just stick with the original. Oh, you know what Burna Boy said recently that was controversial?
Yeah, go ahead.
He was saying he said there's no good content, good, serious lyrics in Afrobeat nowadays. And everybody jumped on him. And some people were like, wait, have you listened to your own stuff? But I think I understand what he was trying to say. But he got in trouble. When you mentioned the pizza, the white dude was interviewing him.
Yeah.
So that's how we got in trouble.
I mean, and I know that a lot of the times when music doesn't have some political message or isn't about like revolution or something like that, but you can also have music just to enjoy life.
It's funny that you say that because a lot of people said Africans in general, people are struggling. And the musicians are getting you away from your troubles for a few minutes, a few hours. So that is revolutionary. You know how they say black joy is revolutionary? Because America doesn't want us to be joyful and peaceful. So the fact that you're giving people joy alone is important.
And I think, look, if we want to even just talk about Fela, and one of the reasons why he was so revered is because he was willing to stand up to the Nigerian government and talk about, what's the expensive sheets? They look too much, like.
He was standing up against the religious class, the political class, the rich. That was just, so they
so there's a time and place for that.
For everything,
And, but at the end of the day, you want good music. So you can still dance to music so it has a message, it's telling you about it, but Zombie is still criticizing, but Bob Marley.
Bob Marley,
you can do both.
Yeah.
And but sometimes Burna, he seems a bit of a poser, like he wants to be that revolutionary guy. But it's like, my guy, just
be who you are.
Just be who you are. That's all. You don't have to try too hard. So this next one. So Oga, you don't know about Aki and Popo.
Oh man, I'm ashamed.
Oh, Sophia. So wait, do you watch Nollywood movies?
I do.
You do? Okay.
Not
you
religiously,
like
but I do.
Okay.
I love that we have our own station on Netflix, which is incredible.
See, again, shout out to Nigeria. So that's fine. We can move past that one. There's no problems. Yeah.
So are those actors?
You still your Nigeria.
But
Aki, those are just the name of characters.
Okay, I'm gonna look it up.
Yeah. Especially Osofia was one of he's this Osofia in London.
Okay.
Look that
All
one.
right,
Osofia in London 1, not 2, 3. No. The other ones are useless. Los Angeles or London?
I love London. Los Angeles. I feel like I never connect with people in Los Angeles because everyone drives everywhere. So I feel like you don't connect. London is like New York, a smaller New York. You connect with people.
I mean, if you want to speak of a little Lagos, I mean, the times I've been there, I've been like,
London,
oh God, another Tolu, another Ola, another guy.
My last trip to London, I went to Brixton. And I met a Nigerian woman who had a restaurant on the street, on the market. And she had a whole interesting story that she told me. So I love London. I love black people with British accent, even though they colonized us. But I always love black
Not
people.
the black people, just the
British.
The British,
that
yes, yeah.
But I love black people with foreign accent. I think there's something powerful and sexy about that. It's kind of like, I don't know. There's something I like about that. So black people with British accent.
So yeah, hey, so I guess, are you much of a soccer guy? Do you like your Super Eagles?
Why are you doing this to me? We had this conversation.
See?
So we had the conversation before I got on. Growing up in Lagos, played soccer every day on the street, no shoes on. Came to the United States, picked up basketball.
That's okay.
Left soccer.
You left soccer.
Football.
Okay.
My brother picked up American football. So I'm ashamed to say I do not follow.
Okay, that's fair. But what I was gonna ask is about John Obi Mikel or JJ Okocha, and if you guys have seen JJ Okocha highlights, like, he's the man. So check him out on YouTube.
You gave me two homeworks that I'm gonna do.
There you
go.
Like that. Now, these two Burna Boy songs, I think these are probably his two biggest songs. Last or Yeah.
So last summer we did Afropunk. Bed Vyne was the sole concessionaire of Afropunk last summer in Brooklyn. Shout out to Afropunk. It's so tough to. Both of them are anthems. If I had to pick one,
there we go.
I would say Last.
Last. Why?
It's
because everybody go chop breakfast, huh?
There's just something about that.
Yes,
I love big. There's something about last that gets you the energy. Like So last. That's a tough one.
Okay.
What was it for you?
I think I like last too. I do like last. I can't. And then just, and even the lyrics, and of course, the pigeon, and of course, again, people are coming up like, hey, so last, do you know about last? I'm like, once again, I'm not Nigerian. I'm not from Port Harcourt or anything like that, okay?
Oh, man.
But I do like the song. Suya or goat meat?
Goat meat. I feel like suya is a struggle sometimes if it's not tender. I don't like to fight with the meat I'm eating. And the suya could be tough sometimes.
This guy said, I don't like to fight with the meat.
No, I like tender, like goat meat in any kind of stew. I like that.
Okay.
So goat meat.
Okay. And then last but not least, okra or egusi.
So okra is better for you. Good for your diabetes if you have. Egusi is just delicious. I had a great okra dish in Lagos the last time I was there, 2018. It was a bunch of seafood in okra stew. I will never forget that.
Yeah.
So okra, yes.
Wow, yeah. Your eyes, I feel like you just transported yourself back there.
Yes. It was it was good.
Well,
so
Rotimi, I would like to ask you what's in the future for you?
We've been doing a lot of work with Deborah Cox. Shout out to Deborah Cox. She has a rosé out, Kazaizu. It's named after three of her three children. I just did something with her on Soho Works. She's going to be in The Wiz on Broadway next year. So I'm going to have a Bed Vyne night on Broadway. Bed Vyne night at The Wiz. So we're excited about that. I get a lot of people that come to me for business ideas because of just what we do. And I love giving people advice on business. I'm conflicted because I want to charge and be like a consultant, but I'm also like, I just love it so much. I love to be part of people's dreams before it gets where it's going. And I'm like, wow, you probably shouldn't charge for that.
So yeah,
you see
potential. You see potential before it's even
before
they recognize it.
People come to me. So the question is, do you charge or do you just do it for free? Because once again, the universe will pay you. So I'm leaning towards just do it for free because I do it for free already anyway.
I need you to say that line again. What was that? The universe will pay you.
The universe has a way of taking care of us.
Yes.
When we take care of other people.
But for free. Okay, yes. And do it for free. Yeah.
So I think I want to do business consulting for free rather than charge for it. Because I think it's critical that Black people we just build, like, be owners of stuff. It's not easy. A bunch of people lost businesses during COVID. We're here. We thank God. And so, I think that's the future. It's a lot of work with the the Deborah Cox Project. It's the consulting thing. Bed Vyne, I'm always, before COVID, I traveled to Portugal because the idea was we were going to start taking Bed Vyne customers overseas, South Africa, to the wine country, Spain, Italy, Portugal. So that's a thing that COVID kind of put that to rest. So we're going to revisit that where it will be like 10, 15 people and we'll just go to wine countries.
That's beautiful.
So I want to do that. So much I want to do. I can't think of them right now. We want to go into merchandise. I feel like Bed Vyne name. Thank you to Brooklyn. Thank you to New York. It's definitely, I hate to use the word brand, but there's something special about Bed Vyne. And I want to capitalize on how we sort of take it to the next level.
Well, before we go, why don't you let people know how they can follow Bed Vyne on social media and also where it is in Brooklyn once again.
So thank you. We're on Instagram at Bed Vyne, BEDVYNE, Bed Vyne Brew at BEDVYNE, and Bed Vyne Cocktail. We're in the process of selling it, so we're going to leave that alone because by the time this plays, it might be sold. But shout out to Ivan and Irene who are taking over that business. They're going to do great. So we're Facebook, it's Bed Vyne Wine and Bed Vyne Brew on Facebook. Bed Vyne Wine is located at 385 Tompkins Avenue at the corner of Putnam. Bed Vyne Brew is located at 370 Tompkins, corner of Putnam. Every Sunday until the first Sunday in October, we do open streets. So 10 blocks are closed from Halsey to Gates, and beautiful Black people, white people, kids just get to be in the street and enjoy. So I love seeing that. That's really, we have an app. We also have a website. We deliver all over the country. We do events. Like I said, we did Afropunk, 10,000 people, 2 days back to back. So from little tastings to huge events, we can staff it.
I love that.
Thank you. I'm usually good with the Dame Dash promotion, but thank you for
of course.
For bringing me back to what I'm normally doing.
Thank you for being here.
Ogasa.
Oh, yeah, there it is.
Josh, what up, Josh? Listen, if anyone needs podcast service, Brooklyn Podcasting Studio. I just met Josh. I'm going to push you on our IG.
Thank you so much, Rotimi, for being here. I really enjoyed this conversation.
Thank you for
knowing more about you, about Bed Vyne, everything like that. Please, people, make sure to follow him on those socials. Go and check it out. Go have a drink. Go vibe.
Yes.
It's a really great place. And again, thank you for coming here.
Thank you.
I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
My new brother.
Yeah, I like
Kwesi.
Yes, sir.
Josh.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Until next time.